Hello, Diana.
Hi, Ben.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, very fine, thank you.
It's good that I can say good evening, know that we share a time zone. That makes it
Yes, you can see it in the back. It's just getting dark.
very true. My window behind me, which is not. People always assume it's like a blind. It's not. It's
Yeah.
just. It's literally a plank of wood that I painted and put over the window because I was sick of the light coming through.
Oh, okay.
So yes, but I see it's getting nice and dark. The summer evenings are creeping slowly there though, so we're getting a nicer evening.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And summertime.
Yeah.
So
It's very cool. Very cool. Anyway, thank you very much for taking your time out to join me for a chat about data and things that we do with data and just other general stuff, really. Would you like to introduce yourself quickly, just to kind of, the people who don't know who you are then know who you are?
sure. So my name is Diana. I would call myself a data nerd. So I've been fascinated with numbers and data ever since. So I studied statistics kind of 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And back in the time, everybody was like, isn't that very boring? Do you stand on the streets and ask people questions also? No, I've been working with data since then, since more than 20 years now,
Cool.
and different roles, different industries. I'm also a mother of 3 children. I like to sing.
Cool. Nice.
I like to take part in data challenges. I really like the LinkedIn Power BI community, and I also professionally I run a small data science company. So we're around 10 people, and we're based here in Germany. And yeah, we are trying to combine the best of machine learning and Power BI and optimization and all that stuff.
That sounds two things. But sounds very interesting, and also sounds like you're very busy. To be honest,
Yes.
that's a lot of stuff that you pack into life there.
Yeah, and what a time to be alive with all the Gen AI things and machine learning really coming
True
to work.
story. True story.
So yeah, there's always too much to look at, too much to read, to watch. But yeah, I'm a very curious person, and I kind of collect everything and try to try as much as possible.
Well, Donald in the chat
Myself.
is also saying that he studied statistics 30 years ago. You
30
studied
years
20.
ago.
So you've watched the world transition into your world, essentially, right? You win.
Yeah, but sometimes I think we are also in a big bubble, because when you go out there to the normal people, there are people that haven't heard of
Completely.
ChatGPT and
Completely.
didn't use it and will not ever use it. So yeah, but the bubble got bigger,
It
much
did.
bigger, and there are a lot of more study subjects here. So as when I studied in Germany, there were 2 universities in the whole Germany you can study statistics. You could do math and specialize, but there were only 2,
Wow.
and there were not so many people studying this. So it was a very nice small
Sure.
group of people, and now there are really a lot of subjects when you can really study data science or whatever in that thing. And I have to say, the study was very theoretical, so I got to prove things, and so best estimates and optimal things, and I really did not program a lot.
Okay.
Maybe for one seminar or so. So I learned all the things after that
Fair
to
enough.
really
Yeah.
work with data.
Do you have do you see much now, like how it's taught now, like the differences between how you learn about statistics, how you study statistics, and how people study statistics now? Do you have any insight into that, or do you not really know much? Because
So for my colleagues that
mm,
are just starting and then come with a data science background, it's
mm,
much more practical and much
okay,
more with informatic computer science combined. And
yeah,
but I don't know. So you can study pure statistics still, and I don't
yeah,
know if it's more practical. I hope so,
yeah,
but I
a
really
little
don't
bit at
know.
least, yeah.
So what did you study?
Oh, I studied history and politics. Nothing, nothing. I'm in this big group of people that basically found my way to data through just randomness. I when I left university, I I still didn't know what I wanted to be. I guessed at some point it would have been interesting to be I don't know. I think at some point I wanted to be a teacher, but then I moved to Germany and then I couldn't teach because I didn't know German back then. Not that my German is good enough to be a teacher in Germany now, anyway. But I just took random jobs. I worked as a flight attendant for a good few years, like for 4 years flight attendant, and then it was probably at the end of my 20s, I started to think, all right, let's start thinking about what you're gonna do for a proper career here, Ben. This, of course, no
Yeah.
disrespect for people who do those jobs, that just wasn't for me, you know.
Hmm.
And discovered Power BI, and that was about it. Really, that took me down this. I'd always enjoyed working with data and numbers, even when I was studying history and politics. I worked in like a bookies, like a yeah, you know, bookies, betting office.
Yes.
And I always enjoyed doing like the numbers there as well, like cutting the numbers and balancing books and stuff. And
When I taught statistics for a while for medical
mm.
students, and I had to teach them about odds. And
Cool.
the Germans don't know about odds because we are not betting, but everybody who's from or
Yeah,
who is from England
true.
knows like the chance. Does it mean? An odds ratio of 2 to 1,
Yeah.
and for us Germans, it's hard to understand because
Mm.
we don't know it from
It's
seeing it or so. So
completely, and it was a really interesting part of the culture when I moved here because I worked in the betting office just up until I left to move to Berlin, and I noticed that quite quickly that there were no like mainstream high street betting offices here. I mean, there are one or two, but they're not like in the UK. They were quite like, normal places. They were kept quite clean and looked like normal shops. But here they kind of looked a
mhm.
bit
Shady.
shady. Thank you is what I was looking for. Thank you so much for helping me there. Yeah, they look
Yeah,
shady.
and it's not really in our culture to bet on
No,
something, I guess. So I always had a hard time to teach medical students like what an odds ratio of 2 meant. Um,
completely.
and I think I failed sometimes because I had to teach them statistics and epidemiology, and
Mm.
people that study medicine are sometimes really against numbers. So I didn't study medicine to learn something about math. So um, it there were always some very smart people, and the other ones just were starting to just get
Yeah,
my grade, and I have
fair
to
enough.
pass this exam, and
And then that's it
yeah.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah, but so you go to a doctor's office
Yeah.
and you do a medical test, and it's like you're you have the disease or you don't have the disease. Then I would ask, what what does it mean? Is this test reliable? And uh,
Mm.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I start when I go to a doctor's office, I don't mention that I'm a statistician. So it's always like, oh, I hated statistics in my study, and
Yeah. I can understand that for sure. One of just this is a very random comment thing about the doctors in Germany. One of the first doctor's office I went to in Germany was around the corner from where I used. Actually, interestingly, this doctor's was actually right next door to a betting office. Well, random, but there you go. And that was my first
okay,
doctor's house arts, you know, like the GP, whatever you want to call them.
GP, yeah.
And I walked in and on the door, you open the door and you walk in and the wall facing you straight away. It was like a pinboard style thing of like all the patients who had passed away, like an RIP. Or I was just kind of like, what is going? That's not what you want to see.
That's bad marketing.
It was
That's
really bad.
okay.
Honestly,
Yeah. So
straight in your face. See, I don't
yeah.
know. What you can do. So Donald has said, do you call yourself a data scientist or a statistician? Statistician or neither?
Always statistician.
You're a
So
statistician.
from my background, yeah,
It does
people get
sound pretty
a
cool.
little bit intimidated when you say this, but that's what I studied. That's what I am.
It's interesting because now that Donald asked the question and going to your background, in the industry that we work in, you don't actually hear very often people saying they're a statistician, do you?
No, no.
Maybe that's why it sounds
Um,
so cool.
yeah, and it's kind of I studied the hard math things and so on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's different in different countries, I guess. But in Germany, it's still very rare. So I'm a
Mm,
Diplom-Statistikerin. So
nice.
diplom is I don't know. Maybe there are 1,500 people in Germany having this degree. So as I studied, I think the somebody got this thousandth person award for the diploma.
No
So
way.
there are not so many people, but there are
That's
a lot of
cool.
people that doing math and
Mm,
specialized in statistics. But I have the grade that is very very rare.
I
The
like it.
degree,
I like it. That's a
but
niche.
yeah, it's very niche. But yeah, it I came into the Power BI
Mm,
community and Power BI tools
mm.
and other Microsoft tools like 5 years ago.
Uh,
And when you think back how you would do plots like 20 years ago, you would do one plot and it was R was very new, so you could
mm,
do one plot, and then if somebody asks you, "Oh, can you do it for this subgroup?" and you
mm,
have to do it all again with a filter, and then you had another static plot, and now you just
mm.
check, you have it in the dashboard, and everybody understands a dashboard now after the pandemic and all the dashboard there. Everybody
True.
can
Yeah.
slice and dice and pick
True.
things. So what a thing! Like
Mm.
so we couldn't imagine it
That's a good point.
20 years ago.
And it was also like everyone became an expert, or we all at least understood the concept of like R rates and stuff. Like I never heard of this term at all. And I was like, oh, the R rate is like,
And
I'm like,
incidents.
yeah,
So I've worked some years in epidemiology and like incidents and prevalence and all these things, and nobody would ever have heard of it outside the things. But
yeah,
that's high
but
tech. Yeah.
no, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and now everybody would kind of know what an exponential growth is and so on. So the pandemic did also a lot of data literacy,
It's
or
true. Yeah,
maybe also data conspiracy theories.
yeah,
That's the
true.
bad end.
Yeah, yeah. People just understood more. Maybe go back to what you said before. It just became a bit more mainstream, right? People
Yeah.
using this language, using this terminology. Then it made me laugh actually because you were talking about how maybe like feel like you're in a bubble sometimes of what you are. I totally have this as well. I was having a conversation with my boss maybe just like 5 days ago, and I'd mentioned something about Imke Feldman, and who does work with Power Query, and I was like, yeah, like Imke is just pretty well known for her work with Power Query, and he just gave me this look, and he was like, man, what are you talking about? It was one of these moments like, yeah, I get it. I live in a really small bubble. So you forget sometimes, you know?
Yeah, but um, all the time it happens that I think, okay, I know some people, I know a lot of people in LinkedIn, and then I
Mm,
get to know you, for example, and now I it's like, why haven't I heard from you like 3 years ago? And the
mm,
bubble is, in my opinion, is huge, but it's still a
mm.
bubble, I think. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And it's also interesting, like one of the things that obviously with like noticing people and noticing things, one of the things I will eternally be terrible at is just marketing. Like some people are really good at like marketing themselves, and I just have
Mhm.
like zero patience for any of that. So I really just like do what I do, and then I just sometimes wish I was like, I wish I like if I could pick one thing that would maybe make me better at doing all this type of stuff, be like just have a bit more patience and time for like selling yourself a little bit. But I'm just missing that part of me, you know. That's the way it goes.
Wow. So why did you start doing these live sessions?
These Oh,
Yeah.
I can't even remember. It must have been well. This is what I'm almost at 100. I think this is the 97th live stream that I've done.
Oh, okay.
So the first one was probably what was it 2024 now, right? So it's probably September 2022, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And honestly, it was just the reason I started doing them was simply because this restream that I used to do it. I used to do a podcast with a couple of my friends about amateur football in Berlin, right?
Okay.
And I stopped doing that with pandemic because all the football stopped and what have you. And I was like, "Oh, I have this license for this program. I need to use it for something. Of course, I wasn't seeing many people. I was like, let's just try and like chat to people on a live stream, and like that was the basic idea. That's where it came from, just to have
Yeah, and you have
conversations.
amazing guest list, so I was a little intimidated as I looked it up. So you have really, yeah, famous people
I
in
I I,
your.
I think I have no problem with just going into anyone's DMs and saying, "Do you fancy a chat?"
Yeah, but that's also a kind of marketing
I guess so.
thing.
I guess so. Yeah, we can
Mhm.
do.
To not
Um,
be afraid.
and what's it? Look, see, he's right. Look, football, the right word, not soccer, exactly. But that being said, when I did the football podcast, it was actually two of the guys who I did it with were from the US. So I became very okay with the word soccer, I have to say, because I just heard it so often. Famous ish, yeah, exactly. Famous ish. Very true. Anyway, getting back to data, Power BI, and what have you. You said you started using Power BI like 5 years ago. What led you there? Just chance or?
So, yeah, I started at a company where I'm now also, and we had and have a product.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's combining forecasting from demand forecasting with optimal purchasing plans.
Okay.
And the product was already there and had some customers. And we decided that we add a Power BI report as the end of the of the product, so like the interface to the customer, because before we had like SQL tables getting back to the customer with the optimal plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, okay, it has to be more visual, and it's also an explainable product, so it's not easy to understand what the product is doing. And we thought it might help to understand it when you see all your data, like the past and the forecast.
Fair enough.
And we had some visualization, but it was not dynamic. And then
Mm,
we decided to give it a try, and it was really a success. So our customers are kind of yeah small and middle sized
mm,
businesses, and they are not so literate with
mm.
these things, but they immediately understood it. So
Cool.
it was a very nice thing to do. And yeah, so I started to dig deeper into it. And
Yeah,
so 5 years later, I still think there's so much to learn. So
yeah,
but I really like it. So
yeah.
we started also using it for machine learning integration and for everything basically.
Mm,
And then so 2 or 3 years ago, the whole company focused like everybody has to learn Power BI, everybody has to be certified in Power BI, and
wow.
so we
Okay.
are kind
Cool.
of 10 people,
Mm,
um, data analysts and data scientists and Power BI experts. So
nice.
yeah, and my favorite topics to learn were
Mm,
then user experience combined with Power BI,
okay.
because I started to also to hear some podcasts about
Mm,
good data visualizations. And yeah, so that's my thing. So I always in within LinkedIn I kind of
mm,
try to think of good designs and also try out new kind of visualizations, and that's my personal hobby.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a fun hobby to have. It can be very time consuming, right? But it's
yes,
fun.
um, in the pandemic year, I started to participate on the 30 days chart challenge.
Ah, okay.
This 1 month in April, and you have to do one chart each day, and it's if you really do it
Oof.
right, so it's very time consuming.
That's tough, yeah.
Um, and I did it 3 times, and I think in I always needed more time than these 30 days, so I just stretched it a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah.
it was very nice, and also tried out, I don't know, R plots and other things, data wrapper, and
All right, yeah.
um, I just wanted to see what else
Mm.
is there.
I I always want to dig deeper into data wrapper. It seems like they produce some nice visualizations there, and
Yeah, and
it looks
it's
very
kind of
cool.
it works really fast, and it looks very
Mm.
nice.
Yeah,
But I think it's like everything when you give it more time, it's really getting n- almost not better, and it can also be be very tricky to really
yeah.
give it to 100%. But it's looking nice, and
Mm.
there are some chart types that are not easily accessible,
Mm.
for example, in Power BI. So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
that was one of my first experiences with it. I had a look, started the account, and started like digging around. And I think because you see so many examples of very beautiful visualizations from Data Wrapper, I had this assumption it was just going to be like a very quite easy out of the box product. It's not. You really have to put a lot of effort and work in, which is of course is reasonable. So this is why I've like twice I've had a quick look. I've moved. I was like, okay, it seems interesting. I'll come back to that. And then of course I never go back to it because of time and what have you. You know.
yeah. What it's kind of easy is it's maps. So I
Mm,
also participated in part of the map challenge. There's
mm.
also the 30 days map challenge, and I really don't do any maps in my professional life because
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen a use case for a map in business analytics? Really?
I see lots of maps where there shouldn't be a map, but I've never seen a use case for a map.
Yeah, so you kind of so the worst thing I ever seen is maps with pie charts then on the locations. So that's really but
That's
that's
special.
easy. So the Power BI Azure map does it like just out of the box, and
Yeah, Power BI is not
it's
good
not
at
my
maps, to
favorite.
be honest. It's it can do lots
Yeah.
of things, but Power BI and maps is not wouldn't be my go to tool if I wanted to create a map. Put it that way, you know.
Yes.
Even when I try with Deneb, I'm just not good at maps. Even when I try to create them with Deneb, I'm not very good at them as well. To be honest, it's just maybe it's a me thing as well.
Ah. But it's
Combination.
I don't know, you need a really good case because,
You do.
yeah, you can do it for, like, for a newsletter article to
Mm.
highlight something or so, but
I
anything else, I don't know.
I really like these. I always forget what you call them. You know when you get like a map of the US and it's all like made of like little hexagons and stuff.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really nice. That's right. And that's easy, I think, in Data Wrapper, so that's not too hard,
True.
I
True.
guess,
I always want.
and would be.
I wish you when I see those, they're only ever of the US, and I always wonder why that is. Why is it just the US? Is it because the country lends itself well to the to those shapes and that pattern? I don't know. Um, I've
I've seen it once with Germany and the federal states,
that makes sense. Yeah.
but I guess it's because it's kind of
Hmm.
default in some things. So
Maybe, yeah.
the yeah, I don't know.
I wonder how the UK would look as a hexagonal map. I'm just trying to imagine that in my head right now. I don't know, but yeah, what you can do. But it's
I've the last good map of the UK I saw it was the scone map. It's very famous.
the
Do
scone.
you know that?
No, I don't know this. No.
So there is it's like a heat map,
Hmm.
and there is a region where scones rhymes with I don't know scones and there is the other part where it rhymes with,
Okay.
I don't know how you pronounce it, scones and
I pronounce it scone, so maybe I'm a
scones. Yeah, so that's maybe then so you will find it in LinkedIn if you the scones map.
Is it I've got okay, is it about the pronunciation?
But yes, so
Okay,
it's
I think
like
I found it.
yeah,
Oh,
it's really nice. So I didn't know how to other pronounce it as scone, but what did you say? Scone?
I say scone, yeah.
Okay,
I
interesting.
think is this it?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe
Yeah,
the Great
Great
Scone
scone.
map of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it. It's like the heat map, and it rhymes more than I cannot read it, but
Rhymes with
it's on the top.
cone, rhymes with
Yeah,
gone. And see,
yeah,
I'm from this region right here, okay?
yeah, and it's right, right? The color is right.
I'm
It's red,
surprised. I
gone.
mean, it's like this area, like where I'm from, seems to be a little bit more orange than around it. And I'm surprised from my region, there's so many people who actually would pronounce it so close to cone, because that's interesting. Cone, scone, gone. 1 second. Scone would be sorry. Cone is scone. Scone is gone. I love that. That's very cool. I like
Ah,
that a lot.
so you learned something.
Thank you for
Yeah, and
that.
yeah, so that's a map that's really nice, but I
That's good.
don't know. It's I don't know business
Well, that's the
use
point.
cases for that.
It depends. I mean, it depends on the sort of reporting that you do. Like I do like 99% business reporting, and that 1% is the stuff that I just play around with my own time. So professionally, 100% business reporting. So I very very rarely have a use case of pronunciation, you know, which but it's a good example. I like it. Thank you for that. So
Yeah,
exactly, I want to bookmark that for future reference. I'll put that in the website that I found is just called brilliantmaps.com. So that could be a good resource, generally speaking, for use cases and
brilliant
maps.
maps.
There you
Okay.
go. I love
I
it.
think there's also one with ugly maps.
Yes, that would make sense. I think there's a Twitter account called like Bad Maps or Pointless Maps or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, that's always good
They are
fun.
really they are worse than you can imagine
Completely.
sometimes.
For sure. So there's a couple more questions that I haven't brought up, so I'll do that now. Donnelly had a question a while ago. Yeah, you go. Do you prefer R or Python?
Oh, R.
Oh,
So
okay.
personally R, but so our product is all in Python, and so I can also speak Python. But R is invented by a statistician, so the thinking is like I'm thinking. So in
Makes sense.
Python, I think it was a computer scientist. But
Okay.
yeah, if it's easier to do things for me,
Hmm.
quick and dirty in R. But yeah, for the big things, we use Python.
Fair enough. So, what do you prefer, Donald? You didn't express your opinion there. I'm just curious as well now. Question for Diana. Here we go from Troy. How do you organize, plan around your learning goals? Yeah, it's a good one. It's tough.
Yeah, I just started to read or hear the Build a Second Brain. It's very famous, the book, Tiago Forte,
Build a second. Okay.
where you organize all your notes and how to organize it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the it's a method called code. It's
Okay.
collect, organize, distill, and I don't know. I'm not at the last point yet. Express or something, something with E. Um, but I also kind of a collector, like a hoarder. I
Mm,
hoard everything what I find interesting, and I wanted to professionalize this. So he has also an organized method called Para. It's projects,
mm,
areas, resources, and archive. And
mhm,
I'm just last week I just started to reorganize my Obsidian vault. I have an Obsidian vault. Um, it's a note-taking
mhm, okay.
tool,
Yeah.
and I put all things in there. What sounds interesting, and sometimes it gets forgotten. And now I want to change this and
Fair enough.
have it organized. Like, for is it something that could be for projects or for some
Okay.
personal things?
Mm,
And I don't know. I'm not very good at organizing it, so
mm.
I read this book I'm hearing it, so I'm a big fan of hearing books,
Okay, yeah, nice.
audiobooks.
Yeah,
And yeah, I always try some things, and like then half a year later, I kind of throw them away and try something else. So
yeah,
I'm not
I can understand
a
that.
person who is very, very, very well organized, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's the way.
yeah, makes sense. I'm also not. I wouldn't consider myself an organized person, but it's nice to kind of dip into little bits and pieces of things so you can retain a little bit of the knowledge. So in the future, if you need it, you can kind of like go back to it with greater ease, And this is always one of my things about learning, that if I want to learn something, I need to have a use case for it. Otherwise, I just can't learn it properly, But it's nice to kind of stay aware of lots of little things, like all the updates we get with all the programs and stuff that we use. It's impossible to learn about like every single one of them. It's just not going to happen. I like to just read at least the announcement part and like retain information of that the functionality is there, but how that functionality works in any great depth, it's like, no, that's not gonna happen until I actually need it,
Actually, when I set up my Obsidian thing in January, I did load in every update blog from Power BI, so
That's
these
cool.
monthly blogs.
That's cool.
And that was very nice when I had to give a talk and I wanted to say, oh, when did they do something with slicers? And I could just put in slicers in the search field, and I got all the months where something was mentioned with a slicer. So that was very nice. And it's kind of a manual thing that I copy it into. I need more automation. So maybe I should write me a Power Automate flow for that.
Yeah, well, as Donald said, basically just use Copilot these days. Copilot will sort it out for you.
For the win.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
And also, like, Donald's also come with his own method as well. There you go.
Put
Put
in layers.
on his desk, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Stacks, piles, right?
Parts. Yeah.
And maybe you could have like a situation where I'm not sure, with like books or whatever it is you're piling on your desk, because you can always put one at the bottom of the pile. When something gets to the bottom, you read it and then it goes back to the top. So you have like a rotational system of what you're reading. I'm not sure.
Okay.
There you go. That's
No,
like very old
that's
school organization.
yeah. I must admit I'm not reading books. I hear books because
Yeah.
when I try to walk every day a lot.
Okay.
So just in my breaks or so, and then when I hear something, I can walk at here and learn, and that's my thing. But
Yeah.
with datavis books, it's very hard to. So, but there
That's
is
true.
the
That's true.
most famous here, the Nussbaum Nachflieg book, the most famous. That's a very good audiobook. So
Okay.
she describes it very well, and you can also hear it.
That's quite cool. I think that I always had the big book of dashboards on my desk, and that's a
Yes,
good one because that's just,
me too.
yeah, it's a great. Actually, I did this training with Steve Wexley. He does these courses like every now and then. I did one a few weeks ago. It was awesome. I loved it. It was very interesting. But even then, he said, like, in this course, he was like, I'm not sure if anyone has ever read the big book of dashboards like from cover to cover. He said, it's not really what it's for. You just kind of pick it up and like go through it and then take some ideas from it. That's exactly what I do with it. It's like, I don't know what to do right now. Flick through, find something that's cool, and try and do that.
Yeah, and there's a new version planned, right? A second version.
Yes, yeah, that should be
Yeah.
cool.
So I also have this book in my office for everybody. So I did implement some of the
That's a cool idea,
dashboards.
actually. Yeah. To have
There's
like a
this
copy
nice
around the desk. Sorry, please. Interesting.
Yeah, there's this nice one with a lot of KPIs and some charts, big and icons, and it was done in Tableau, I think, and it was not so easy to have it in Power BI. But
Yeah.
I did it. I did it, and I also had a customer who really liked it. So
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Stephen, he's big ass numbers, right? That's what he calls them, the big ass, this BANs.
Yeah.
Right? It's a nice thing.
Yeah, I'm currently doing another challenge. It's called Back to Viz Basics. I
Okay.
think it's originated from the Tableau community, but it's
Mm.
open to everybody. And it's like be weekly, so you can do one challenge every 2 weeks, and
Okay.
that's manageable for me.
That's nice.
So in 2 weeks, I find a spot to do. And the best thing is they have already the data. So
Yeah, that's cool.
with the other challenges, you had to go and look for data, and I was really looking too long. And there, the last week, it was BANs, big actional numbers. I think they or aggregated. And I did. That was really fun. I did really a lot, like numbers and histograms, numbers and box plots. So I'm a statistician. I love box plots. So box plots for the win.
Yeah.
But I never seen it on a business dashboard so
Yeah.
far, but I would like to see it. And I really did try out, I think, 9 different designs for a better BAN, not a big ass number. So, but annoying. I think it's big annoying numbers.
Yeah, I think there are a few different acronyms to go around with BANs, but yes, basically, your large numbers that you draw attention to. One of the things, like when I look at the data visualization stuff, and people say, oh, like, how to kind of get better data visualization, that sort of thing. I honestly do think one of the best ways to do it is to, on LinkedIn, follow lots of people from Tableau community, because that is generally pretty good at what they produce in Tableau, and it gives you some nice inspiration and stuff. The only thing I think, and I think the only opinion that I might have about data visualization that might be deemed controversial, is that these IBCS style visualizations. Yeah, I really don't like them.
Me neither.
Thank you.
And it's not intuitive. You have
No.
to, I don't know, see it like 3 months in a row, and then maybe you know, okay, the dashed one is that, and I don't like it. And I get the idea of having a standard and
Yeah.
having things, but the standard is not it's not intuitive to me. Yeah, I wanted to say,
No, please.
sorry,
No, you go for it.
about data viz. I started like 1 year ago or so to hear the podcast of Ellie Torben.
Okay.
It's Data Viz Today, or it was Data Viz Today,
Okay.
and it's like it was 100 or 80 episodes, and I kind of binged heard it because she always had one inspirational or some visualization, and then she talked about it and tried something by herself, and it was so nice to hear it, and she is so actionable at the end. She kind of makes a good summary, and I was kind of thrown into that, and I binge hear it, and then I started also to do some better visualizations.
That's cool.
Because yes, I'm a statistician. I'm very, so this is the number and that's it. But I learned that a good design can really help the user
Yes.
to understand the data better and to like the dashboard that they're using. So if it's really boring and too much, I don't know, numbers and things, people don't like it and don't use it.
That's interesting. I agree, though. I guess it depends on your definition of boring, because I did a session. I created a session called "Your Report Looks Boring and Nobody Cares." That I might have to change the name of it, because I think it gives a false impression of what I'm trying to say at the start until I get into it. I really think so. The concept is having a report that's ugly, having a report that's boring, and having a report that's very beautiful, like a really beautifully designed report. And I honestly would look at a report that I would deem boring than one that is beautiful, because I think a very, very stylized report often forgets the core of what the report is, which is the data, and when you have something that's styled to look visually very stunning, spectacular, whatever, it depends on who's looking at it, right? You can see a report and say, that's amazing, looks beautiful. And I'll be like, no, not really. It's just, it's nothing interesting. But if you stick to the point of your visualization, which is let's clearly just show some numbers, and the numbers that I'm showing are the ones that are important, I would much rather look at a let's say plain. I'd much rather say a plain report than one that's designed to look
Yeah,
visually
plain is
spectacular.
better than boring, because
Yeah,
boring is kind of
yeah,
our step,
yeah,
like statistic is boring, it's just
yeah.
numbers. And plain and clear, yeah.
Maybe
And
I'll change the name of this session. Yeah.
but it depends. I got one customer that I had really did a nice mock-up with
Mm.
like bar charts, and it was very, very nice and plain. And he said, "Oh, I have to convince other people to look at it. Can you have some more innovative types of charts like waterfall and this and that?"
Mm,
I was, when people first see a waterfall, I don't
mm,
they did
mm,
not understand it. But he was very insistent, like it has to shine, and the people have to have the first impression that it's kind of new and better than Excel. And then I'm like, I don't know if
mm,
it's really good to have the most innovative things.
mm.
But sometimes I mix a little bit, like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, a nice new chart type in
exactly.
there. But you're right. So sometimes I do also some teaching sessions for my customers that
Mm,
are also Power BI developers, and I have one session about user experience and
mhm,
kind of start with the basics, like having a good background,
mm,
having a grid
mm,
where you align things, and having a color theme, and don't use the ugly colors that Power BI has
yeah,
as a standard. And that helps also a lot. So
yeah,
having
completely.
kind of 3 layouts to choose from,
Yeah,
like 4 visuals,
mm,
like 3 cards or so. Um, I think that helps, that seeing the same layout again, it's kind of
mm,
boring, if you might say, but it helps
mm.
the people, yeah, with consistency. Like it always
Absolutely,
looks like this, and
completely.
always the filters on the left side. I don't know.
Mm,
That's what I teach
yeah,
and try to bring to the people. And yeah,
yeah.
there's some basic principles, but there are a lot of reports that look like, whoo, I don't know
Like,
which filter is for what. And
yeah, it's tough. I wish, going back to the whole theming thing, I wish in Power BI it was possible to have fewer than 10 colors on your theme, because you're
Mhm.
forced to have those 10 colors. Like even if
Yeah, and it's really hard to have kind of a line chart with everything gray and one
mm,
colored, to go to everything, and you have to pick for everything the gray color.
it's very
It
annoying.
takes you, I don't know, 5
Mm,
minutes alone to pick
mm.
those gray things. That's really bad. I don't. I think we should
Damn it.
push this idea. I think there is an idea, like 5 years already, to have
I
this standard color and
mm.
just the one highlighting color, but it's
It'll be on Miguel Myers. He'll be looking at that for his core visual thing for sure. So it will change. He's doing nice stuff, all that kind of. But honestly, for me, I just for most of my visuals now, I like not at work because when at work I can't do it so much. But generally speaking, if I can, I'll create as much as I possibly can in Deneb, because I honestly find it now so much easier to completely code a Deneb visual than to
okay.
create create something decent with a Power BI core visual.
Yeah.
Um,
So I haven't used Deneb at all, I have to admit.
love it.
But I think if I would start it, I would also love it.
You would, you would. I can guarantee
I
it.
assume that.
It's
So why did you start it?
that's actually a really good question. I can't remember. I mean, I know the first person. The first time I saw it was through Kerry Kolosko, who has always
Mhm.
created wonderful stuff with Vega Light and Deneb, and I guess even at that time, I wasn't particularly interested in data visualization. Deneb got me really interested in data viz. Like it really took me down this path of caring. I never ever say it's something that I'm good at. I just say it's something that I'm interested in, and I always try to improve. Even when I create these like Deneb, if I do a session at a conference about Deneb or whatever the videos that Andy just referenced, I always say on every single session, it's like, look, I'm not saying I'm good at data visualization. I'm saying I know how to use this tool to create stuff. So if you're someone who has very good design skills and can use this tool, then you're golden. You can do loads. There is,
Okay.
yeah. So it's really
I
like,
will watch your intro video and then
thanks for the plug,
maybe.
Andy. But it's actually good to go, if I go back and see that original video now, because I mean all of the stuff that I created about Deneb, it's interesting for me as well because it's me learning how to use Deneb. It's me learning how to use Vega Light. So my first video, the visuals that I was like, oh my god, it's so cool that you can create this. They're actually pretty crap. But
Mm.
it was me just learning. So every video was me like learning this. You think, oh, that's pretty cool video. That's pretty cool
That's the
video.
nice that's the nice thing on the community thing. So
Mm,
people are learning, people are sharing, and but
yeah.
you, as you said, you have to be better at marketing. You cannot say you are not good at it. So you're just saying like I'm 3 years using it and I'm a very good expert, and you want
Oh,
to market
yeah.
yourself better.
I honestly, I'm one of these people. I would literally probably never refer to myself as an expert, because when people say they're an expert, I'd always like think, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with it, but for me, I don't think I would ever use the word expert for myself with whatever I was good at. It just, there's something in me that blocks me from using that word. I could say I'm very interested and I'm good at it, but if someone says, like, I did a presentation, I did after I was in Oslo for this Fabric February, yeah, the conference up there. Someone asked me to do a presentation internally at their company, which I did. No worries. It was nice, good fun. And they introduced me as a data visualization expert. And I was just kind of like, nope, nope, nope.
So you would say you're what would you say? Data visualization practitioner? No, what would you
Enthusiast.
refer?
I'm an enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
I think it's a nice word, because if you're an
Mm,
enthusiast, it implies that you put in effort, you try,
mm,
and you learn a lot, and you're interested.
yeah, but I think it like he tried. So in Germany, when you say he's trying very hard, it's like
Mm.
okay, he cannot do it.
If yeah, but if I were to say I'm a person who tries hard at data viz, that I would agree. But the word enthusiast implies lots of different
Yeah,
things. But you're right. You're right. It's I should use stronger words. Amateur. In one second, let's put down
amateur. I don't know.
interest.
So not
Okay.
expert. Let's think of other words besides of expert, like you're
Semi-pro.
semi-pro. Okay, so you're a
Yeah.
very humble person, I guess.
Probably too much, to be honest. I should just start being saying
Der
stuff
war
like.
stets bemüht. Yeah, that's it. That's it. What I thought of Ben.
There you go. So what
It's
I'll do.
like
Sorry, please.
it's like when you have to write a statement of reference and you
Mm,
cannot write anything bad, and then you write it was to our satisfaction or
yeah,
something like that. He
yeah.
tries.
I think I'll just start to be bold and start saying I'm an expert with Deneb, and that'll do for now. Not data visualization, just Deneb.
Yeah.
That's fair, right?
Okay.
There you go.
But you don't use Danab at work, so
I
just
do. I do actually.
yeah. Okay.
I've had recently, and actually it's quite cool because the company that I'm working for now, my boss and I, we see quite eye to eye on data visualization topics. And so if I had the chance to create visualizations that are better, and I need to use Denner for that, he's perfectly fine with that. And I can
What
give
do you
internal.
visualize? Sorry, what do you visualize? What kind
Uh,
of data?
well, I work in after sales analytics, so it's a lot about people and people's behavior. Um,
Okay.
so it's nothing, and I like that because I spent a lot of time working with like purely financial data and stuff, which was fine, but it gets a little bit samey, you know. Like, well, what was our net sales? What was our CM1, CM, blah blah blah. Um,
Mhm.
so I find it there's more like one of the reports that I've been working on is like basically each team having some KPIs. And actually, this report is entirely Deneb, but it's the same visual over and over and over and over again, because it's literally just tracking all the KPIs. We want to make sure it's all like identical. So it's been, once we had the idea of what the visualization wanted to look like, and actually I totally stole that from someone on LinkedIn, by the way. I think I could be wrong, but I think it was no, I was going to say it was Kevin Flage, whose name I'm probably massacring, but it wasn't. It was someone else. Anyway, I found the idea on LinkedIn. I sent him out because we were both looking for how could we visualize this better. And the next day I saw something on LinkedIn and I sent the post to my boss and I was like, this, and he was like, yes, let's do that. So it was quite cool.
Wow, that's really cool. So I usually spend too much time on LinkedIn because I get so into it and I kind of, oh, that's it, and that's and that. But it's also nice because you really get value from it. So you can really do it and try things out that you never would have thought of.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
If you can
Except,
really, one of the things I have to do on LinkedIn is really just kind of mentally block all the massive ChatGPT posts with all the rocket emojis and what have you. I am thrilled to all, etc. Like, no.
yes, and I get a lot of meeting requests and I don't know, marketing people that want to sell me some. I need to have these sales and these sales, and I really hate it. And I back in, I don't know, 3 years ago, I put an emoji or something in between
I did the same.
my names, because I thought maybe then when they automate this, you can just click it away. But now they are better in automating it, and
True.
it's like I need a bot that really replies to them. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Please, please vanish from my feed and
And
I don't know.
I set up like
They're always the
rules.
same.
Yeah, I set up rules to like how I add people to my network. Like they have to have like a minimum number of people, like mutual connections.
Yeah.
But I had a great one the other day. I accept the person. I kind of am lazy at it, and I'll go through it in bulk and just go, yeah, accept. And then I think the next day I got like a message from someone. It was clearly like a marketing bot or whatever. It was like, "Hello, Ben Ferry. Is Power BI new to you? Do you need?" And I'm like, "Yeah, great. Yeah, it's new. Please, what's that?" It's like,
Yeah, it's like it's really getting so some days I'm really fed up and I just wanted to block everybody, and yeah,
mm,
it's really annoying on LinkedIn. But when you I don't know, when somebody sends me a connection reference, I usually click on yes. But when they send me the first, is that interesting to you? I just block it
oh yeah,
um,
remove the connection. Yeah,
so yeah, I don't know. It's like because I'm a CEO, Geschäftsführer, I get
stimmt.
so I thought maybe I should change my profile slogan that I'm not in all these like, "Oh, I see you're also a Geschäftsführer in Germany." Yeah, okay, that I don't know how many 100,000 people in Germany. So that's
Yeah,
not nice.
I
But
know.
I was I think it's really cool what the community does and says. And I met some people, and last in January, my colleague and I, we had the idea. We set up a dashboard feedback
I
meeting
saw
for
that. Yeah.
free for everybody
Mm,
in
mm,
it was in German, but it
mm,
was so nice. There were
mm.
I think 15 people,
That's
and
cool.
it was we asked around if somebody had something to
Mm,
share and wanted to give or get feedback, and it was so nice. It was we had some very experienced ones, some very new ones,
cool.
and how how would you get it
Mm,
when we don't have LinkedIn to really bring
that's
people
true.
together and give an hour of their time
Completely.
to give people feedback and it 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 was really nice. So
That's
I think
cool.
we will do it. We will repeat it and just so keep it very small. So
Yeah.
like 10 to 15 people, and yeah,
Nice
so
idea.
new people can learn and so on.
I think it's also especially important on something like LinkedIn, because a lot of the time the feedback that people get is not helpful feedback. It just becomes this like echo chamber of, oh, that's amazing. Oh, great work. And of course, there's nothing wrong with saying good work to someone, but if someone's posting stuff and all they're getting is people kind of liking and saying congratulations and saying that's fantastic, when clearly there are things that should be looked at, should be addressed, it's not really helping anyone at all, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
it's nice.
especially when you have some kind of people that are new to Power BI and have their third report, and
Mm,
I don't know, it's a nice and valued
mm,
community, and
yeah.
nobody laughs at you when you do something
No, of
wrong.
course
And
not. No.
we did it with a Teams meeting, and we did
Mm,
no recording, so it was just this small couple of people. And first we thought we have three things in 1 hour,
mm-hmm,
three introductions, but it was too much. So two, you can really fit into it. And we had kind of a Mentimeter thing, like what was helpful. And the person who introduced their report got
mm,
afterwards all the comments, and it was so nice. People were so nice. And
cool.
yeah, it's also, the social media can also be like
Okay.
valuable
Okay.
and nice, and not only like mm, mm.
It's true. It's nice that you said it, because you're right. It's very easy to forget that, because you see the face value of it. You see just a lot of just the negative side. But if you like persevere with it, and you kind of make the connections that you need, and people can actually help you with your career. I mean, this is what you're talking about now. Is yes, it's feedback on a report, but that's the things that can help people with their career as well. You know, because they take this and they build it, they grow in it. And if people get feedback in a positive way, in a helpful way, it brings out that in them as well. They're better at giving feedback themselves, you know. So very
Yeah, of
cool,
course.
very nice. 1 second, what's Ben saying? That's fantastic. Answers are mostly to amplify and trick the algorithms. Yeah, that's it's all about the algorithms, right? None of us know what the algorithms are, but we all talk about them. True enough.
The algorithm, it's like the internet, or uh,
Yeah,
the
true.
AI. The AI did
The
this,
AI,
so
exactly.
the one and only.
Class. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
been a good hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Um, Thank you very much
it
for
was so
joining,
nice.
by the way. I want to end the conversation how we started before we came on air. I'm really jealous of the chair that you have for this. It really embodies the how I want to have the vibe, just like sitting in an armchair, just like relaxing.
Yeah.
You kind of look like you should have a drink in your hand, you know?
Yes, I do have water.
There you go.
Mm.
Good enough.
But I always wanted to sit here and talk to somebody, and now I found you, and it's
It's
so nice.
happened. I'm so happy I can make that. I can make that dream come true.
Thanks to Lincoln, and thanks to you. And it's
Awesome.
really dark now,
It
so
is. It's proper nighttime. So it's a good
yes,
time when the sun is all
to
set to
to
end
dream
it.
about
Exactly.
data.
Well, don't we always, right? Data and
No,
statistics. um,
no, no, no.
yeah, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. And everyone in the chat, thank you for joining and asking all your questions and interacting. It always makes it very fun. And I'm excited that we're ticking down towards that 100. So it'll be fun to see who joins you in that 100 chat. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you again next Thursday, I
Bye.
suppose. Cheers. Goodbye.
Tschüss.
Don't you wanna